we forgot Michigan State draft. We have to do that next.
We do have to do that. I'm sorry. I got off on a tangent there with those questions, but yes, we do need to do this.
The format of this episode has me in shambles right now. Over the weekend, some Twitter people, David Klein, who's a colleague of ours who we really like, Chris Castellani, another colleague of ours, came on Sleepers this year, Anthony Broome, who I've never met, and Justin Spiro, who I've tweeted at, but that's about it, did a Michigan State crossover draft. Okay. So 2 Michigan guys, 2 Michigan State guys, 8 rounds. And I believe the goal here, from what I've seen, was to assemble the best team possible. Now, Cart, I just want to give you some facts about this draft. If you go team by team, David Klein selected 6 Michigan State players, starting with 4 consecutive Spartans in the first 4 rounds. Chris selected 5 Michigan players, starting with 4 consecutive Michigan players at the top. Anthony Broome selected 6 Michigan players, including 6 straight Wolverines from rounds 3 through 8. And Justin Spiro selected 7 Michigan State Spartans, 6 straight in rounds 3 through 8. This was the most biased thing I've ever seen. And that's coming from a guy who can obviously make jokes and be biased. But like, I'm the only person on earth who roots for both of these programs. This was just an exercise in fandom. That's all it was. Like, I can point to somebody on every single one of these 4 guys' lists where they took someone like 3 rounds too high because their perception of his value is altered so much because they played for their favorite team. It's ridiculous. It honestly ruined the exercise for me. I think it's a fun exercise. I like the prompt and I like the people involved. But man, I'm looking at the results of this and just rolling my eyes because
what's the most egregious pick for you?
I'm gonna shit on DK. I'm sorry, DK. He knows this. I've already said this to him on the side. The most egregious pick was Gary Harris at 9. Michigan State people think way too highly of Gary Harris. I was in school when Gary Harris.
Hold on. Is there an agenda with this pick?
I'll shit on some of the Michigan ones coming soon too. Gary Harris at Michigan State. If the premise of this was you get the guy in his best season, which season was Gary's best season? If you're going to say it was his sophomore year, he was chucking shots and missing shots at a ridiculous rate. He had more like 6 for 19 games that season than he had games where he was a killer. I watched it up close. He had the biggest green light Izzo gave any player, and he shot 35% that season. He's good. I get it. He's a good wing defender, but you took him 9th over guys like Levert, who was better statistically in every category in his best year compared to Gary. I think Gary should be mixed in with like the Tim Hardaway Jr. group of good college wings. And Hardaway went 3 rounds later. Gary Harris goes 9th overall over guys like Dickinson, Jaron. Like, I don't get it. I'm going to shit on Anthony Broome for a second here, Carr. I don't know Anthony Broome. I'm sorry if this makes its way back to you. Eli Brooks in the 5th round is the worst pick in this draft.
Yes, that's what I was gonna mention. Like, I couldn't believe that.
Like, what do we just get the warm and fuzzies for a 9 points a game career guy? So like he gets to go 5th. Jesus Christ!
Can I get an honorable mention for worst pick of this?
Yeah,
I can't believe Sean D. Brown got drafted.
Sean D. Brown was horrible. Chris, I love you. Sean D. Brown is not a top 80 player in this rivalry in the last 2 decades. Like, and that's why, look, we just shit on DK, Chris, and Anthony. I don't really have a problem with anybody Spiro took, which is why Spiro wins the draft for me. And Spiro has the best backcourt in this. He has Valentine and Stauskas. And to me, he has the best front court as well. Tillman and Jackson. Like, best backcourt, best front court. He wins. I don't know how anybody let him get those 4 guys. I didn't love the fact that he went, 6 straight Spartans to end. I think like Neitzel in the 5th round and Walton in the 7th round, and honestly Suton, like all of those just seem like homer picks.
Okay, but also Eli Brooks was picked before Drew Neitzel.
I know, but look, everybody on this list was picked before Iggy Brasdeikis, who's the best freshman this rivalry's seen in a long time. How does he not get picked? He averaged 15 a game on a team that won 31 games. He was the leading scorer, and he doesn't get picked. But Sean D. Brown does.
Looks like Hampton Squidward.
Dude, I don't get it. And look, I'll call it what it is, Cart. If you or I or us collectively were in this exercise, we run away with a win. We run away with a win. I'm not convinced that drafting 5 guys that didn't get drafted from them wouldn't lead us with a better basketball team than any of these 4 assembled.
Who is our team if we have that? Like, we got Keith.
So, well, I said Keith online because I was trying to be unbiased with Michigan State stuff. The thing is, Keith is a murderer, and also Darius Morris and Derek Walton are there. Or no, Derek Walton's not there. Broome took Derek Walton. It'd be Darius Morris or Keith.
Well, Darius Morris hits women, so
yeah, neither one of those are good. I think Darius Morris was better than Keith as a sophomore. Like I forget what he averaged, but his assists were up there.
Yeah, I don't know. I call me a homer, but I still think I'm taking Keith over Darius Morris.
I'll take Keith just because he can shoot, but like Demo is probably better. Iggy Brasdeikis is on the team. I think we're probably taking Jordan Poole on the team. A bunch of good Michigan wings didn't get drafted. Like Charles Matthews was the best wing on a title team. He's not in here, but Chauncey Brown is. Again, Iggy 15 a game on a 31-win team, led the team in scoring. Where is he? Jordan Poole, I get it's not about their NBA careers. Jordan Poole was the second leading scorer on a 31-win team. Did we just forget that team exists? What? They went 0-3. So that team went 0-3, so we can't draft them. We're not going to respect them in the context of the rivalry. But Miles Bridges, final year, didn't he go 0-2? And he's in the second round. And DK's entire team is Cassius Winston and Miles Bridges, who's one of the most underachieving duos when they played together in Michigan State history. And that's
not necessarily all their fault, though.
It's not their fault, but I'm just like, if we're going to punish that one really good Michigan team because they went 0-3 down the stretch to Michigan State, and your team's built around Cash and Miles Bridges, rolling my eyes at that.
And just since we poke fun at everybody and we say that we love Spiro and we loved his roster, I can't believe Travis Walton got drafted.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
I love Walton for what he did for the Spartan Dogs, but if we're drafting players
for Spiro, as much as I think Spiro won,
top 30 all-time player.
I think Spiro won the draft, but for him to go Neitzel, Henry, Walton, Suton down the stretch over those guys I mentioned, Iggy, Charles Matthews, Poole.
I take Aaron Henry over Charles Matthews, but go ahead.
Any team that won anything in college wouldn't, but sure. I get it. Again, nobody in this exercise can do it unbiased, right? I genuinely think I could probably.
I think I could do it unbiased.
You think Aaron Henry's better than Charles Matthews? I don't think so.
Oh, he is.
He
actually is.
I mean, remember when DK was rounding the Aaron Henry over Franz horns a year ago?
I never rounded. Those horns were never rounded by this guy right here.
Aaron Henry was a good college player. He's a very good college player. There's probably been 40 guys as good as him in this round.
Franz at 10 doesn't sit right with me either.
What, he should drop more?
Yeah. I'm taking LeVert before I take Franz, to be honest with you.
LeVert at 11 is one of the best values in the draft. Dickinson at 14 was the best value.
That's elite value.
I mean, Spiro goes Tillman Jackson, and I like that combo, but Dickinson's the only guy on.
And I'm surprised Chris didn't take Dickinson over Manny Harris.
Dickinson was taken before he got back to Manny.
Oh, I might have been looking. Oh, I'm looking at that wrong. My fault.
Yeah. Chris went Mo Franz together, which is fun. You get Mo Franz and Trey Burke. That's a fun team. But he lost me with the later half of his draft. If he had put the right Michigan State guys around those three, I would really like that. Yeah, I don't know. Who would you have taken number 1? I was arguing with DK about this. I think Cash at 1 is stretchy to me because I don't think there's anything Cassius was better at than Burke in his college career, other than assists, obviously. But if we're talking at their peak, Burke was better than Cash. Cash was a liability on defense, even at his peak.
I can't get mad at D. I would probably take Cash as number 1 too, to be honest with you.
I would take Draymond 1.
I would take Draymond 1 too. I think that if you take either Cash, Burke, or Draymond, honestly, I would even throw Zell in that mix too. I think right there you got guys that are National Player of the Year level candidates at their peak in college. So give me any of those four, I'm not batting an eye at all. Like you take Burke first, I'm not going to argue with you at all.
The thing with me is like, if you're taking Winston or Burke, you're not going to get another point guard later. And you like, is senior year or junior year Kalen that far behind those really good point guards? Are the Valentine Stauskas duo that they essentially operated as playmakers on their teams that far behind Cash and Trey? Like, to me, like you can't get what Draymond did in college from any other player. So you take the singular guy and then you surround him with good point guard stuff later. Because I mean, all those guys we mentioned, Kalen, Derek Walton, like there's other really good guys that operated as primary players. You don't need the star point guard.
They should have drafted coaches in this. I would have loved to see Spiro's team when Sutan plays 25 minutes and Jaren plays 17.
If you had to draft coaches in this exercise and it was like you could take a coach any round, but you had to end up with a coach, DK and Spiro take Izzo by the end of round 2, guaranteed, right? Like,
I don't know. I like Judd.
Who would so it'd be Izzo, Beeline, Jawan, and then who's the fourth? Is there not a fourth?
I don't know. Amaker.
Probably, I don't even know.
I'm taking Jawan before Beeline too.
Dwayne Stevens is 4. How about that?
I'm taking Jawan before Beeline too, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah, it's a miss on your part, even though John Beeline is he's got some devilish qualities, man.
Yeah, he's also a quitter.
Left us dry. He is a quitter. All right. Well, thanks for letting us get our bars off on that. Hey, Spiro, when you're organizing that next time, if you want some people who will actually not just draft 7 players from their favorite team and might be able to provide some quality engagement here, look no further, my friends. We're available. Is what it is. Final
booking info's in our DM.